Hello. So now let's jump into the topic, and so I will make a short introduction to the topic that will be really that our speakers will really go into detail into. But why did we start with this subject? In fact, we already some years ago we started investigating how legal interoperability was implemented or not implemented into legal texts. And for this, we started, well, it was legal interoperability, and now we are moving towards digital ready legislation, but there are strong links between the two topics. And how did we proceed to do that? So we built kind of, well, keywords that are related to each aspects that we were looking at. And then for each keyword we do, and we still do, by the way, or we start moving towards more automated tools. But we were very, very in a time-consuming process, looking at every piece of legislation we were addressing and going into it with the keyword search. But we, of course, fast saw the limits of this, because for a given keyword, you may have synonyms, or you may have antonyms, or you may have similar words or similar concepts that could support your search as well. And together with the fact that the way we address the relationships between these legislation was very manual process. So if you have one piece of legislation and that refers to another one, then you would have to go to the other one also manually, and then to do the same type of search. And in fact, that's our first, why we first met, by the way, and we got interested into the work that Bertrand is leading, is because we saw a huge potential of in their initiative. And we started learning about artificial intelligence, as I hope you will learn as well today. And so Bertrand started explaining us that indeed, instead of keywords, what the algorithm behind their tool is doing is that it provides, it finds concepts that may be represented by more keywords. And I could try to find an example for you, but I think Bertrand will show in the demo, he will be better to show you this. And I hope I don't disclose too much of what you will say, Bertrand. And so what artificial intelligence, and I think it's a big word that has to be a bit unpacked to make it less rocket science, let's say. So it is, and I don't pretend I know what it is, but I will explain you how I think what it gives to us in this unpacked view, is that it allows to address a huge quantity of resource. And in our context, these resources are legal text mainly, but maybe also additional resource, such as could be web, social media information, or news, for instance, or legal, judicial decisions that could be connected with legal texts. So just to give a very broad view on this, if you think of all these type of resources I mentioned, you can already be overwhelmed by the huge set of information that this contains. So in fact, what this artificial intelligence can do is really to search in an automated way, and as fast as the processing of a machine can go to the to identify insights that can be of interest for you. And from there, in fact, the aim is to be able to reach digital ready legislation by focusing on those aspects that deal with digital readiness, and for which we are still improving what our first set of concepts that we identified in the legal interoperability thread. So can you move to the next slide, please? And so so why are we doing this? And this is in the next slide. The why is because we are processing legal making legal screening, and we want to have faster results in the legal screening so that we can improve legislation to then foster smoother implementation of law and implementation in its digital angle with a digital readiness. And so if we can go to the next slide, please. So there are more use cases that we wanted also to give a glimpse of what it could support. And I maybe, voilà. So we have, and traditionally we make this distinction between screening existing legislation, and their existing legislation, it can help identify legal provisions that are applicable to a situation. This can help together in a judicial, in a a lawyer to do his work faster, or it can help a citizen to understand which laws applies to him, or it can allow you to assess a degree of transposition of a directive. So if you are in an administration, so these are all in the existing legislation. Then we wanted to, we have a case that is dear to our heart because we are also working quite hard on it. Which is streamlining reporting clauses, where concepts are really carved in stone in legislation, and the best way to make use of existing data that has been required by legislation is to be able to find it and then to reuse it when available. And then this simplifies the life from the citizens and businesses when these regulatory reporting clauses are well set. And then, for instance, in the to come legislation, there is a screening of draft proposals, which is more at the policy making side, a bit early in the initiative, when policy initiatives are started, to really have the best understanding of the existing legislation, existing IT systems, and so that the new legislation to come is made really fit for purpose and easily implementable. And this said, I think that I can give the floor to my colleagues or to you, because you have a mentee to come if it's coming. So when you are searching for legal provisions, which are the services that you use? So if you could give a glimpse, I'm sure that you are also, these use cases resonate to you, and so please give more of them, or you can also explain that you are using some of the services that were identified in the previous slide. Okay, Eurlex. So we have Eurlex, which is the famous commission system. Eurlex and Eurlex, or is it? Maybe I've not seen. Google, haha, Google, yes. Eurlex Advanced Search. Okay, so Lexi, I need to make it bigger because my still up. Curia, LexisNexis. Okay, this is, I think, a solution in the private sector. RIS is in the maritime, I guess. So we have Eurlex, Google, and a private company, and then some specialized Commission, or this is a trans-European network system, I think, but in Austria. Okay. Waarde Service Highlander. And then the next question is whether you are satisfied with your search results or whether you would like to have them improved. So, well, okay. So what I see is that nobody is really, for now, extremely satisfied. Very satisfied neither, but still it's good. But if you are satisfied, I think it's good, because at least your life is not so bad. But we see that the tendency is that there is room for improvement. It's what we can get from these answers. So